The X Performance is Sony's challenge to the top-end flagship segment and the top phone in their new X series lineup. Many of us were a little bemused when we saw the X released with its mid-tier processor, and the X Performance is really the phone Sony fans have been waiting for. You can probably guess from the name the difference between this device and the X. Yep, that's right, the Performance. This handset packs the Snapdragon 820 processor, not a 600 series chip, so expect multitasking and gaming to be much improved in this device. In terms of design, I did have a case of deja vu when first opening the box to the X Performance, as it is practically identical to the Xperia X. This lasts, however, until you pick up the device, as it's slightly thicker, but it is noticeable in the hand. The other thing you will notice is the weight. This phone is fairly heavy at just over 164 grams. This might bother some users, but for me it's reassuring, as the phone feels like a high quality product. Of course, this is down to personal preference. In terms of hardware keys, we have the power button with the integrated fingerprint sensor on the side, along with a dedicated camera button and volume rocker key. Waterproofing is something that is back in the X Performance. Okay, it didn't really go, but the X and the XA in this new series from Sony don't have any IP rating, so it's nice to see that they kept this feature in one of the new devices. It is a standard IP65-68 rating, which means you can submerge the device up to 1.5 meters for up to 30 minutes. The display on the X Performance is a 5-inch 1080 by 1920 Full HD screen and brings with it technology from Sony's Bravia TV range, such as Triluminos and X Reality. This all makes for great viewing, and all of your videos and media will look great on the device. Performance and software is perhaps the most important part of this review, as it says in the name of this handset. We don't often look at benchmarking here at Clove, as we focus more on our impressions and the fluidity of the device when we use it. However, for this handset, I felt it was appropriate to touch on it. Overall, the X Performance did very well and kept up with its biggest competitors, with not much to choose between them. You can find all the benchmarking results across various websites for those of you who are interested. In terms of hands-on experience with the device, the X Performance is very good and can easily handle anything you throw at it. Heavy gaming was fine and multitasking was no problem at all. The device comes with Android 6.0.1 and you'll be left with just 18.98 gig out of the 32 gig internal, which isn't good at all in all honesty. The main reason you are losing all this memory is because the Android system takes up a whopping 11.79 gig, so the Sony overlay is clearly a big add-on to the stock Android here. The device, however, does support up to 200 gig SD cards, so although your internal memory isn't that impressive, memory won't really be an issue. We all know what Sony can do when it comes to cameras, and they've done it again with the X Performance and bettered the Z5 camera that was already very good. The device has a 23 megapixel rear camera and a 13 megapixel front facing camera. They have fixed the camera boot time, which is now pretty instant, as it did lag a little on the Z5. The camera's focus around U-speed doesn't end there, however, with a capture speed of less than 0.6 seconds, faster image processing, and hybrid autofocus, which tracks moving objects. In fact, Sony put their camera through its paces, and the Performance outperformed all leading global competitors. So, at the time of this review, this device delivers the most accurate autofocus performance on a moving object. If you use your smartphone to take a lot of pictures, then this device is really worth looking into, as I'm yet to use a camera which outperforms it. I took some shots in Superior Auto mode, which by default shoots in 8 megapixels in 16:9, and the results were very good. Video was also great on the X Performance, with color rendering being very good, and there was brilliant noise reduction, so every video looked great. Sony steady shot stabilization is also very good and something that I have always been impressed with, so your videos won't have any of that terrible shaky recording. The Performance has a 2700 mAh battery, which is fairly good. The experience I had with the phone is that it got me through a day and a half comfortably, which is good battery life for my usage. Its competitors do perform better when it comes to things like video playback and web browsing, but for the average user, this phone will give you a good amount of use. The device does support Quick Charge 2.0 and not Quick Charge 3.0, like we see on many other flagships with the 820 processor. However, there is good news though, as the UK model that Clove will be selling does come with the quick charge UCH10 in box, which is a nice touch from Sony. These days, all flagships have the connectivity that you need, and the X Performance is no different. The device has you covered across 2G, 3G and 4G, with support for Cat9 LTE. The performance comes with NFC, much like previous Sony devices. However, just like they have with the X, the tag has now moved to the front in the top left-hand corner. So, has Sony's frontrunner in the X series won any races? Well, for me, it has definitely won the camera race. It's very good, and if a good camera is the deciding factor for you when looking to purchase your next device, then I highly recommend checking out the X Performance. The device is also great looking, and the famous Xperia design has been hit with some nice tweaks. The only negative is that the phone is a bit heavy, but other than that, it's stylish and feels comfortable in the hand. Battery life, surprisingly for a Sony device, is a little disappointing, and I was hoping for more in this area, perhaps a 3000 mAh battery. However, it isn't bad in any way, and most users will be very happy with the stamina of this device. I hope the X series starts as it means to go on, and we see great products like the X Performance in the future, as this is what we have come to expect from Sony. Only time will tell, but for now, Z is dead, bring on the X.